Okay, so today we're going to have a discussion because that's something I can actually do. But the topic I chose was diversity and why we have decided to have animals, plants, and other things on our homestead that have to have 3 uses or more, and what those uses are and why. So, any thoughts? Why did we decide? I know Mom did permaculture classes, and that was part of the reason.
Well, because they're more useful.
Yeah, when I took my permaculture courses, one of the things that they espouse is diversity, and the more connections between things on your farm or homestead or garden, the more connections that are made between those constituents, the more stable your environment, ecosystem that you create will be, and the more what's the word I'm looking for? Not simple, but complex. The more complex it will be. So, if you look at a chicken needs food, water. It needs a place to dust bath. It needs grit. It needs calcium. It needs to scratch. That's what a chicken does, is it scratches around in the dirt. These are things that the chicken needs. It needs a nest so it can lay its eggs. Now, what does a chicken produce? The chicken will produce feathers, meat, eggs. With its scratching, it will dig up worms and bugs, and it could dig through compost. So
it'll spread things around.
It'll spread things around. So if you look at the different constituents that you have and you make those connections between each constituent, so then it will make your ecosystem that you're creating more complex and more stable. And so you would take the chicken and you would put it in a space. You know that they like to eat bugs. You know they like to scratch around. So if you have, say you have an apple tree, and it's getting, and there's bugs around this apple tree, would you put the chickens in with the apple trees, or any number of other plants or trees? Then you can help that situation of the bug population by making that connection between the constituent of the apple trees and the constituent of the rooster or chickens. In the meantime, the chickens are scratching up the ground, taking out any weeds that might be inhibiting the apple tree, eating the bugs, and manuring around the apple tree, providing it with nutrients. So there's one connection you're making between the chickens and the apple tree. And then, so everything needs to have at least 3 reasons to be there. So the chicken is going to manure your apple trees and help keep the bug population down. Those are actually 2 things. It'll provide you eggs, and they'll provide you meat.
And feathers.
And feathers if you need feathers. So there's more than 3 reasons for a chicken to be there. The apple trees provide apples. They provide a lot of different products. The reasons for having a specific constituent in your food forest or garden or can be anything. And the main things for having them is, providing food, providing shelter, providing medicine, providing fiber. Maybe it's simply because you like the smell of that thing. That could be a reason. Or you like the look of that thing. It provides beauty. It could be a bee forage or beneficial insect. It attracts beneficial insects. It might be that, if you plant a garden and you want to keep the bad insects away, and you want to plant marigolds and nasturtiums and calendula in between your tomatoes and beans, and to keep the bugs from eating them, then that would be a reason. To repel bad insects would be a reason, and to attract beneficial insects like bees, butterflies would be a reason. So there's lots of reasons why you would choose a particular plant or animal to put in your system, and those are some of the reasons that you can use. Some of the things that, we live in a temperate zone, so we have certain plants and animals that do well in our temperate zone, and so there's a lot of things to choose from, and you have to do the research on what those things might be. We have apple trees, we have chickens. If you want a cow, you can have a cow. There's goats, there's guineas, and all of the animals do different things. Pigs will root around. Goats will eat down shrubbery. If you have a lot of bramble and stuff you need cleaned up, goats are really good for that. So those are things animals can do. If you need to look at what Joe Salatin would say about the pigness of the pig and the chickenness of the chicken, you need to kind of have some knowledge about the animal and know what their needs are going to be and what they will produce and how you can best use that in your system. Same thing with plants.
Some plants will benefit, others it doesn't the truffle benefit like apple trees or something?
There's what's called companion planting, and some plants do really well being planted close together and other plants do not. And you can do some research. There's all kinds of charts and things online that you can find about companion planting. So, like roses and garlic grow really well together. Garlic helps roses, and basil and tomatoes grow well together. I mean, there's just different combinations of plants.
They also go really well together.
Yeah, in food they also go well together. There are some things you don't want to plant next to each other. I can't, off the top of my head, tell you what those are. But, again, there are all kinds of charts that you can look up on companion planting.
So part of the big reason for looking at that is if you have a chicken and then, say, a carnivore like a dog, your carnivore is supposed to protect these chickens, and in return the chicken kind of provides a meal for that carnivore kind of deal. Like, you need to know...
you can look at it that way, yeah.
Yeah. You need to know how to best make your animals work together and fit in the system like a puzzle piece, I guess. Because each one can provide something for the other one. Like for cows, you plan on mob grazing cows and then putting the chickens behind them, because the chickens will get benefit from that, and then so will the land get a benefit from the chickens.
Really, the ultimate goal behind all of this, trying to find 3 reasons to have a constituent in your system, is to create a situation where you have to input very little to get a lot. So you reduce your workload, and you allow nature to do what nature does to produce what you need, so that you don't have to work so hard. Instead of working against nature by trying to fertilize plants, instead we build up the soil and let the soil biology do the work of feeding the plants.
And instead of spraying all the plants to make sure that the bugs don't eat them, you can plant other beneficial plants that would keep all the bad insects out, and some other plants that would bring in the good insects.
Right, and if you have bramble that needs to be removed and you have goats, let the goats do the work. This is all about creating situations where nature does what nature does and reduces your workload.
Yeah.
Now, you're not going to, in a commercial or industrial setup where they're all about yield and how much they can get out, this system is not about yield. This system is about getting the most out with the least amount of input. So, you know, your apple tree isn't going to produce like an industrialized apple tree is going to produce. However, you're going to be doing very, very little work to get what it does produce. You know, basically what you're going to need to do is harvest. And if you put in the right constituents to make connections with that apple tree, then it will have less blight, it will have less rust, it'll have less pest infiltration if you make those connections with chickens and pigs and other plants that will help give it nutrients. Because a healthy tree is not going to be attacked by bugs like a tree that is ill would or is lacking correct nutrients.
Right. Any thoughts, Daddy?
Not in particular.
Mom explains it really good. So yeah, that's basically most of it in a nutshell, I think. So, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to like post in the comments or something, and we'll probably do another session like this when we have enough questions to answer, and then we'll post it up for you guys to listen to. So, yeah, hope you guys have a good week. Bye.